Hello and welcome to the Saturday episode of E2, the LARP Noobs. It's me, Bungle. Hello, and once again, I've got Oily here.
Howdy everyone, I'm still here.
Yeah, I haven't let him out yet. I'll set him free at the end of the once we've done the Sunday recording.
Yeah, he said you're chained up to this recording mic until you've given us 3 good episodes.
And if they're not good enough, I'll bring them back for E3. So, Saturday, the day Navarre go to battle.
Big Saturday.
Yeah, so, guess pretty much was a case of waking up and I'm chilling out while everyone else around me is getting kitted up for going onto the field. Quite a nice feeling sometimes when it's very hot.
Yes, you did say you had mentioned to me that you might go, and so I do always check in with you in the morning. I do always say, Bung, are you coming with us today? And you you looked very comfortable and you just sort of slowly shook your head, and I went, fair enough, it's quite hot.
Yeah, it's been too warm recently for me. Not to date when we record these things, but it is very, very fucking hot at the moment. But yeah, I just love to relax in my mornings too much at LARP, I think, whereas everyone else wall painting up, and I'm just like, yeah.
I do find it's a very good punch in the gut to get up and go and do something, though.
Yeah.
It's a bit like I guess it's a bit like the Empire equivalent of like an early morning run, where it's you got to get up, you got to get dressed, you got to go out and do some physical activity, and then you can get on with the rest of your day.
Yeah. Whereas I've usually been up for about 3-4 hours before anyone's up getting ready for battle, so I'm like, I've done my waking up routine, I'm sorted. I don't need this running around in the boiling hot sun while lugging around several kilos of armour.
And we had the wonderful news. They did say that they said it's a field battle as well, so we weren't even going to be able to get the cover of any of the trees.
Oh dear. No. On hot sunny ones, make it a forest battle somehow, please. just let me in the woods.
That is where Navarre thrive.
Yeah, I mean, when I've been on the field, all the best battles I've ever been in have always been inside the woods. It's just one of those things. I think just adds to the whole sort of tension of everything.
It's very atmospheric to fight in there, but it is easier to kind of get the grand spectacle of battle if you when it's out on the field.
Oh yeah, it has that very sort of epic sort of ancient battles, I guess, when you're sort of lining up across two huge fields, and then depending on who you're fighting, you're charging at them, or you're just trading blows back and forth from behind a shield wall. Yeah,
it's really apples and oranges to compare them. So yeah, I think I can find enjoyment in both. So the first thing that happened upon getting ready for battle was I turned to one of my good friends and I said, "You owe me a crown." And they went, "What do you mean?" I said, "We made a bet the previous night, and I said, I bet that Navarre aren't going to Thrunin." And they went, no, we definitely aren't. I said, "Would you care to put some money on it?" And they went, "Yes." And I was right. We weren't going to Thrunin. Yeah. Apparently it was one of the fastest ever decisions for military council.
Oh, God. That could be anything from like 10 to 15 minutes. I jest.
So that improved my morning slightly, but I got kitted up. Fortunately, I was not on banner duty this battle, as our regular banner bearer was. Saying the word banner bearer is such a tongue twister. Banner bearer was back, so I was able to use my new skill I'd picked up between E1 and E2, which was archery.
Ooh, how did you find it?
So I do shoot my bow a lot in other systems, mainly Northern Kingdoms and some ILARPs, but those are smaller, more skirmish affairs, and I wanted to shoot it in a big battle, and immediately I was faced with a problem, which is that being the kind and benevolent LARPer I am, I lend one of my bows to my friend Hannah, who plays Sylvie.
Yeah.
And and I took the choice, and I said, do you know what? I said, I'm going to be doing some healing and shooting the bow. So I said, you have my nice bow that can actually reach out and fire arrows properly, and I'll take the my first bow, which is really like a kid's bow, and it can fire, it can fling an arrow, but it's not as good as my new bow.
Yeah.
And Hannah had come back from weapons check and I was down to 3 arrows, and they came back from weapons check, and 2 of them had failed.
Oh,
actually, no, I think one of them had failed, and one of them actually belonged to my friend in the marches, so I gave him his arrow back. And so I had 1 arrow between 2 archers, which is definitely a really good amount of arrows to have. And I went, it's fine. I'll just wait for to be fired at, and then I'll go out there. I'll pick some up. Fine, great. So off we go to battle. Me with no arrows. I did feel quite a lot like a Dark Souls character build though, because I had I had like a sword and had like a knife and had a bow, and I was like, wow, I've got like Skyrim levels of kit here. Like normally most people
several
just pick
wheels
one.
of cheese.
Yes, I did pack my pocket sausage as well, so I always got a pocket sausage in my healing bag, just in case.
Oh yeah.
And in memoriam to our dear Agni.
Oh yeah, battle snacks are definitely a smart idea.
Such a good idea, and taking enough water that you can also share with some of your close friends, really good. So generally my approach is, if I'm healing someone, they generally get a couple of sweeties and some water whilst I'm doing the RP.
Yeah.
Because I always say to people, listen, I'm here to look after your OC health as well as your IC health.
Yeah.
And they say, Murdoch, you really are the best healer. And I say, please, I know.
You're so modest.
And handsome too, I know.
Yeah.
So this battle was, we had to go and defend a fort. So we were going to go and occupy a fort, and then I believe we just had to hold it for most of the battle.
Fun.
Yes, so it was a hold objective, which isn't the worst thing in the world,
No.
And I was like, okay, again, I was like, Navarre have been put on a hold objective, but okay. And there'd been some rumours swirling around the night before about how the other military commands had lost faith in Navarre, so we really had to show ourselves, basically show how good we could actually be. And we got out, and we went and we ran forward like good Navarri, and we went and occupied the fort. I think we pushed all the way through the fort, saw off the Jotun on the other side, and then kind of let the rest of the Empire come filter in behind us.
Yeah.
and we just sat there for an hour and a half.
Oh.
And occasionally there were little sallies out to go and harass some Jotun, but I was standing there and I was thinking, I was like, I haven't seen a lot of arrows, and I was kind of like hands on my hips in the back line. So I was like, I haven't seen many arrows, and then suddenly it just hit me. Not the arrows,
Jotun?
Unfortunately. Yes, Jotun. And I went, oh, and I just turned to Sylvie and I went, we're fighting Jotun, aren't we? And Sylvie was like, yes. What do you mean? I went, they're not firing any arrows back at us, are they? Because they don't like bows. And they went, oh, and I went, yeah. So I spent a good 45 minutes looking for an arrow. That became my quest. on this battle, was just to find an arrow. I was like, please, and I was like running out in front of the orcs, and I was like shouting at them. I was like, just shoot me! I was like, I don't even mind if it takes me down as long as I get the arrow. And I think I ended up getting 2 arrows, and people were asking me to shoot targets, and I said, no, I went, I can't shoot that target. I need to find a guaranteed hit because I've got the weak little bow as well.
Yeah, trying to go for any that Talus style shooting of a herald at 500 meters. Or
Yeah,
whatever
exactly.
the story is now.
That was not going to happen. So I did find a lot of fun in, basically I'd tap a Navari on the head and go, when I say duck, and I go duck, and then they duck, open up a little gap, and then I could like ping a mage. That was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun. I highly recommend. It's probably the most expensive form of LARP combat, LARP archery, but I think it's such or throwing, yeah.
Yeah.
The pole arms are expensive, but you generally don't lose your pole arm.
No, you tend not to have your pole arm, stab someone with it, and then just leave it where it was.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I do like I have heard rumours that there are such thing as LARP safe javelins. I've heard rumours of these.
Oh yeah, but I worry how they're going to fly because I think they're to be thrown. They have to be completely coreless.
Yes,
so
I'm not sure if they're Empire legal. I believe they were allowed in the was it Odyssey? Was the Processor game?
I believe so.
Yes, I believe that is where they were used. But the idea of a javelin flying into you sounds kind of fun, to be honest. So, and whilst I was out on this battle, and I wasn't doing much, but I ran into one of our neighbours in Navarre, the Dusk Owls, who had gotten completely wiped last time they were here. But one of them, who I'd been chatting to the day before, had the world's tiniest crossbow. I'm going to call it, it's the ladies' home companion of crossbows. It was literally like, it looked like he could slip it into a pocket.
Wow.
And I had talked to him the day before, and I'd said, how what's the range on that, do you think? And he went, oh, I don't know, I've never fired it. And I went, I wonder if your really tiny crossbow or my really weak child's bow is worse, right? And I said, how about if we see each other out there, we'll do a shoot-off. And he went, yeah, okay, that sounds fun. And so I got my one arrow, and I had one arrow, and I saw him, and I sprinted across the breadth of Navarre to him. And I was like, are you still up for that competition? He was like, oh, yeah, absolutely. So I went, right, we need to wait for a suitable target. And we kind of, and we picked out one target and went, oh, no, I don't think they're quite right. We saw another one, like, oh, no, they're not quite right. And we had a moment where there were two blobs of Navarre kind of fighting at a right angle to each other. And I went, come with me. And I dragged him round the side of them. And there was this one orc that was, someone could have run out and stabbed them, but it wouldn't have been worth it. So they were just stood there, not, dressed in like, it was like an orc school trip that I think they were just wearing a tunic. That's all they had on. And we were like, perfect. And I went, and so as we ran up, I went, that one! And I shouted and pointed at this orc. Cue the orc looking very scared, because there's someone with a bow and someone with a crossbow pointing at them, right? And they were like, oh no. And they started to step and started to turn to run. And we aimed our shots. And dear listener, I would love to tell you, we watched them fly high, blotting out the sun, before they came down for a perfect chest shot. What actually happened was they both went about 20 meters. And they went very much and I think mine fell at their feet, and my Dusk Owl compatriots was essentially touching the tail of my arrow. And the orc looking down at their feet, seeing the arrows hadn't even reached them, and then looking back up at us, and then to cue us going, yeah! And we were just cheering in jubilation. And I went, I went, congratulations, you have the more pathetic archery employee. And the rest of Navarre turned to look at us as well, and they were like, what are those two idiots doing about, like, not even reaching their target that was within, if I'd sprinted, I probably could have gone and hit them. And we just were like, it was... So that was really the most fun part of my battle. I think you've got to do that when... if everyone's doing some reasonably good poking in front of you, you need to go and find your own fun in battle. And mine was shooting off my really pathetic bow.
Hopefully you get to use the decent one at E3.
Yes, I'm going to have to insist on it at some point.
Exactly. Well, I mean, my Saturday morning was... Well, I went down to... what is it? Where everyone gathers up before the battle. Muster. That's the word I'm looking for. I went down there with Caro Shield. Because obviously we want that to go to a new fawn to take the field. Spoke with, I believe it's Matthias, the guy who basically leads up the Driftwood group. And yeah, found a guy in his group who had the shield skill but didn't have a shield. Was reasonably new to Anvil. I was like, there you go. There's an extra boost of endurance fortitude for you. And you'll now... you'll feel an urge of courage from it as well. So, did that, and then I was like, right, I'm off to get some breakfast. Went down the Smoky Hole for breakfast on Saturday, I believe.
Lovely. Oh. What was your order?
It was a sausage, bacon, and egg bap. The only thing that was missing was some sauce. That was alright. Then just had a bimble and tried to sell some more frogs, basically, while I was just bimbling about.
How was the frog market first thing on Saturday morning?
Not too bad. I mean, obviously you got a lot of people off of the main sort of non-battlefield area because there's a lot of people out there fighting. But again, a lot of the people who aren't fighting are a lot of people who've got deep pockets. So,
that is certainly true because they never die, so they just accumulate currency.
Yep. I've got frogs. So yeah, frog selling did pretty well this summit. Hoping to have some more for E3. But we'll see. Yeah, and then I just came back to camp and everyone else started coming their way back from the field.
Yeah, so job done, job's good 'un. Left the fort in reasonably good order, I think, and popped back through the Sentinel Gate and head back to camp. And I knew I was... Because the battle doesn't have a set end time. But I knew that I was going to be really tight on time because it was finally time for Murdoch to settle down and get married at 1:30. Yeah. And I knew I wasn't going to have a lot of time to get changed and get unsweaty battle kitted.
Yep, it was quite fun. You basically turned up and then you're like, right, out of my battle gear, and then just like, need to redo this, need to redo that.
Yeah, it was. And the question had come up the night before: does a Navari get married in their war paint? And I think the answer is yes. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Except I forget how intense I look when I'm wearing my war paint. So sometimes I'm talking to someone and then they'll be giving me like a really kind of like... they give me a look and then it's only afterwards I go to the toilet and I go, oh, I'm still like covered in blood and like this like black and red war paint. And I realise, because I can't see it. So Murdoch. So I left my war paint on, but everything else. So I was actually sort of moonlighting as a leaguer for my wedding. Because me and my dearly beloved Julie had actually we'd swapped. So she was wearing green, and she was adopting a more Navari cut, and I had adopted more of a leaguish cut to me, and I'd adopted her kind of red and white colour scheme, which I thought was very cute.
Yes, the doublet you had was amazing.
Yes, the doublet was very kindly made for me by my actual fiancé. And so I had to keep it hidden until it was time for the reveal. And so so I looked very weird because I was hanging around the stage in the market with in just a shirt with this doublet like under my arm.
Yeah.
And oh, Bung, you could like the market just started to fill up, didn't it?
Yeah, it was absolutely rammed. I think the only time I've seen it as busy was probably Gellert's funeral.
Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking. And I thought, we thought we were going to get like 20 people, and it was we absolutely filled the market, I think.
Yeah.
And I had briefly talked to Julie had told me on Friday. They said, "Don't worry, I've sorted the registrar," and I was like, "Perfect, great." I met the registrar minutes before my wedding to help them set up, and who was it? It was Earl Oriana, who was the same Earl who I had met last year when we went down the whale stomach together.
Ah.
And I went, of course it is, because there's only 20 people that play Empire, apparently. So everyone has to be someone you've interacted with before. And they had and I asked them, I said, "Oh, do you want the plectrum? Like, do you want the stand? Do you want the bench on the stage? You know, or should we get out of the way?" And she went, "Oh, no, I need to be able to put my basket somewhere." And I said, and I remember thinking, I went, "There's something in that basket, isn't there?" And she didn't tell me what it was. I didn't mention it, but I was like, there's something going on here. And so we kicked off. My lovely bride-to-be Julie was walked down a Navari aisle, let's say.
Yeah.
It wasn't a very straight or coherent aisle, but you know, she came up and I got to walk up by myself because both of my side were both running late. So I went, okay, that's fine. And we had a rather lovely ceremony, which was a mixing of Navari and Leaguish culture, if there is such a thing.
Yeah, I mean, you did a bit of sort of the Navari customs of like the braid and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm guessing you did all the Leaguish stuff of whatever they do.
Well, the Navari side of us getting married was doing quite a nice braid with a sash that was from my dead best friend, which I thought was a really lovely way to tie him in. And we'd also brought Ronan, who was another big character's horns, and we put them on an empty chair. That really got me.
Oh, that did bring a little tear to my eye looking over, just seeing the chair there, just with the horns on. It was like a fitting tribute.
It was really, really lovely. So we did the braiding. That was the Navari side, and then the Leaguish side was they made me sign a contract, essentially saying that, you know, it's like it was standard business spiel, but it was like 2 or 3 sides. And I was like,
oh wow,
this is really a business marriage. And then sweet Earl Oriana revealed what was in her basket, and she said these 2 lovers met and went on their first date at the Varushka night market, and at the night market we sort of accidentally did 6 shots each in rapid succession.
Ooh.
They were 6 mystery shots as well, and that was our first date. And so, in celebration of that, Oriana had brought us 6 mystery shots, and she did specify. She said, "You don't have to do them; you can give them away." And so I believe we did the first one together, which was awful. I don't know what it was. It was awful. It was like it tasted like toothpaste.
Yeah, I believe your lovely wife reaction was, "That tastes like mouthwash."
Yeah. So that was a great start. And then we gave out a lot of the other ones, including to Oriana, because I wasn't going to let her get away with it. And everyone else really enjoyed theirs. And
It's always the way, though.
Yeah. And I was like, well, it's our wedding, and and we've ended up with the bad shot, essentially. But yes, I was absolutely bricking it through the whole thing, because it was such a weird experience to be doing kind of a very high level of ball gowning with your actual fiance front row in the audience.
In the audience,
they were loving it, but it was just so strange. And then we ended with a nice big theatre kiss, and everyone went wild. There was clapping, there was cheering. It was great. And then, well, what did, obviously being an integral part of the wedding, Gaia, Gwithian, what did you get up to once the wedding was winding back down?
Well, once the wedding was winding back down, I think me and Sylvie went off to complete the stamp quest. So back over to the marches, which is the running theme of E2 was in the marches, basically.
You got a lot of foot traffic on that one road between Navarre and the marches. Yeah,
definitely. It's definitely where I put the majority of my steps in, was walking across there, then up and down the hill, the main sort of Marcher Street. We completed the full stamp quest book. Admittedly, I think one of them from the library was basically, there was no one there at the time, but there's the stamp, so stamp your own stamp.
That feels a very Navarre way of completing the stamp quest.
Exactly. It's the stamp's right there. There's no one here guarding it. I'll fill in my stamp for you. They
did say it was a challenge, and you just took the challenge to be you had to sneak in there and stamp your postcard.
Yeah. Then watching the Marcher games as well, because they had all their tug of war and all the other fun games like that. So that was quite fun to watch while drinking delicious booze from Marcher pubs. And then I think it was hosted by the guys around the Blind's Eye, the Black Sigil national group.
You might know better than me.
Yeah, but they were doing a auction to raise funds to save Bragisland, where they're selling off various different items, including the legs of a spider, which was one of the items that came up. And during the auction, Gwithian did get a little gift for Talis, which I haven't told Ian about yet. So you'll be receiving an icy letter, Ian, from Gwithian to explain what he's purchased you as a gift for you losing your home in Thorunin.
That is wonderful, that is.
Yeah, it's. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens there.
I also, about that time, bought a gift for a dear friend, for Cricket, who is played by my proper fiance. I got them. They were the person was actually trying to sell it to my friend Orwin, who was a mage, who was with me. And I saw it and I went, I will buy that. Like, you don't have to sell it to them. And it was essentially an Empire version of a Magic 8 Ball.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
I remember that.
You know, because this became a running joke for the rest of the evening, for the rest of the weekend. And we have this Magic 8 Ball in our house that we always, as a joke, if we're having like a fake marital dispute, we'll ask the Magic 8 Ball on what the answer is. And I thought, oh, that's perfect, because I'll give them an in-character version of it. And needless to say, they loved it. And for the rest of the evening, it became, should we go for a drink? Yes.
Yep.
We go, okay. And then we go off to a pub.
It kept answering yes quite a lot, so we did have to do some the checks just to make sure it wasn't weighted.
It was definitely weighted. I think it definitely is very biased.
Yeah, especially if it's being asked about going for drinks.
Maybe we could get it hallowed as like the jar of inebriation or something. The jar of poor decisions.
Speak to me, I see.
Yeah. But I had as a wedding gift, my friend Orwin had said they wanted to go cast a ritual on me, which they said they'd do last time, and it basically was mid stag pub crawl, when I was quite jolly, and I got dragged off to the Reggio to do some weird spring magic, and we did it all, and I went through all that trauma, and then they went up to the tent, and then they walked back towards me with a very sheepish look on their face, and they went, oh, I actually haven't done the maths right. I don't actually have enough spring magic for it. I went, what does that mean? And they went, well, nothing happens. They went, I went through all that for nothing. And they were like, I'm so sorry. They were like, I'll do it next time. And this was next time. So we did more weird spring magic, and there's lots. They love doing blood magic. I mean, for me, it's always just like, why can't we do something nice with flowers? Why is it?
No. We're in Navarre. You cut yourself and you smear blood on things.
It's like you cut
That's
yourself,
how magic works.
You cut the other person, and then they gave me the roleplay effect. Right as the Empress came back through the Reggio, right as we were done, and they gave me the roleplay effect, and it was, you feel, they said, I have to get this exactly right. They said, you feel extremely driven to obtain your heart's greatest desire, even to the point of violence at the end of a knife. And I went, ooh, perfect, great. And I think that was going to last 15 minutes. And I went, super. And I went, okay. I went, don't start the timer just yet. I'm going to think about what Murdoch wants right now. And then that turned into, what does Oily want? And it being quite a hot day, I went, what I want is, I want a drink from the Black Rat. So I went, okay. And I just sprinted from the Reggio down Urizen, crashing through Urizeni, through Varushka, over the tiny little bridge, all the way up the marches. And I got to the rat, and I was just like, give me a drink right now. And they were like, sorry, we're out of, we've sold out. Because obviously they always sell out on Friday. Crazy. It's too popular. Of a pub. And I was like, I don't, like, how do I deal with this? And so I just kind of fell over. I was like, ah! And so I pulled my knife out and I started threatening people. and then one of my March friends tapped me on the shoulder and went, do you know you're under an area roleplay effect here as well? And I went, oh, you're kidding me. And I realised I had about 3 religious effects on me because of various items. I had the ritual effect, and now I had a area aura on me as well. And I was like, I'm surprised I don't just pop out of existence from all these roleplay effects. And basically it was an aura to, I believe it was a loyalty aura, and it was to help people. Like, you really want to help people. And I was like, so combined with the other one, that means I really want to help people to the point of violence. So I was just like, what do you want me to
fucking help you?
Yeah, literally, I was like, what do you want me to do? And they were like, we tell Silgor to stop playing, because Silgor was on the stage.
Yeah.
And I had to, I really had to be like, I'm playing a game. It's not real. Sometimes I'm quite anxious in person. And I was like, So I ran up to Silgor on the stage, pulled the knife out, and I was like, Silgor, stop playing right now. Your life depends on it. And he sort of just like trailed off like the guitar. It was very funny. And I went, good. I was like, thanks. And I turned back round. And then all the march were like, Silgor, you stop playing again. Like, so sorry, Silgor. I was under a role playing effect. And then they said, oh, you got to go over to Wintermark and find this general. And they wanted me to do something silly. Oh, tickle him, I think. And I was like, fine. And they gave me, which was very nice of them, they gave me a beer out of their personal stash. So one of their personal beers to be like, there's your marcher beer. And I was like, okay. I don't even like beer, but I was so hot at that point, I just drank half a beer.
Yeah.
And I sprinted off for Wintermark. And I was just shouting, and then poor Orwin is like running behind me. And everyone's like, is he okay? And they're like, yeah, it's a ritual thing. Don't worry about him. Like, he's just got to get it out of his system, you know. And then, so I ran over to Wintermark, and I ran to some Wintermarkers I knew. Because I thought, oh, Wintermark's a bit big and scary. I don't really want to go and just shout around on Wintermarkers. And I started shouting them where this person was, and they kind of took me around Wintermark a bit. And I just kept, like, falling over and, like, screaming like a child, having a tantrum. If, like, we turned up at a camp, they'd be like, oh, we think he's here. I'd turn up there. It wouldn't happen. I'd scream and this happened like 3 times, and then I think Orwin tapped me on the shoulder and went, oh, your time's probably up now. Or they were like, your time was probably up 5 minutes ago. I thought it was quite funny just to let you keep doing it. And I was like, oh, thanks. Like, so then it wore off, and I was like, hey guys, what's happened? And they're like, oh, nothing. And I was like, oh, I just sort of blanked out. I didn't do anything embarrassing, did I? And everyone's like, no.
Not at all.
Oh, where did this beer bottle come from? You know.
The next big thing I had after doing all my stuff over in the marches was heading to the league for a certain wedding reception.
Yeah.
It was a fun gathering. Always got to get knife fights. They've only got a load of Navari knife fights.
Yeah, I really felt like that was the 2 sides. It's like a proper family wedding where you kind of have those like crazy uncles that are like great uncles or something, and they always like take their shirts off, or they start doing silly stuff like, you know, climbing on chairs or whatever. And that was the Navari version. Was as soon as sort of the prim and properness of we had some speeches, some really nice speeches actually, and such. It then just like at the moment that ended, it then became, who would like a knife fight? Yeah.
I think once again I'd love to start the live fighting off, challenging Grundforce.
Yeah, I knew I could count on you to get the party spiced up.
Yeah, and then once I'd done that live fight, well, you know what? We need some drums. So I actually ran back to my tent and got my drum out.
Yeah.
I went in public with the fucking thing for once.
And
rather than just sitting in my tent.
You formed, I think, the hottest trio of musicians at the spring solstice. Spring solstice? No, I don't mean spring. Spring equinox.
Yeah, equinox. Spring, summer solstice, winter solstice. Yeah, it's an equinox. No, I mean, hats off to the people that Julia had got for the actual music performing. Person on guitar was absolutely amazing. Also, the person playing violin absolutely fucking smashed it. They also were the person playing violin at the Fawns meeting at E4 last year, I think, in the MC tent.
And that, again, another good friend of Murdoch's called Ira. And I'd said to her on Friday, I know I've left this really late. And I was like, could you maybe play a moment? And she's like, stop right there. She's like, I've already been asked by your wife-to-be to play. And I was like, thank you so much.
Yeah. I mean, they were both absolutely amazing musicians. So, and it was a privilege to play with them. So,
it was, I think that that is such a lovely, lovely Empire memory for me now. Is the sound of you three, and I believe they'd been hired separately, and they were
Yeah.
initially going to do separate sets. So one of them was going to do some music, and then the other one was going to do some music. And then maybe they're going to swap. And obviously, you were just a guest.
Yeah, and I just thought, fuck it, let's jam, man.
And then they started jamming, and then you joined in as well, and it was
Yeah.
amazing. It was like you'd practiced this, and I had a friend come up to me and say, "Oh, what's the name of this group? Because I'd really like to hire them for another social event." And I went, "They're not a group." I said, "They're just three individual musicians just jamming, and they're just so well fitted to each other."
It was absolutely amazing, and it's one of the things that's been my bane since I've been starting to go LARP is my own lack of confidence in myself. It's like, I know I can do okay on the drums, on the djembe and stuff, and things like that. But it's like having the confidence to actually go and do it. And it's like, you know what? Also, a little bit of Dutch courage as well during the day. That's a wedding reception. What do you expect? Everything doesn't go far without his hip flask.
No, I think that was the last thing I did before I actually got on stage to get married. Was you just leaned over, you went, Murdoch, and you just rattled the flask at me, and I went, "Oh, go on then." Yeah.
Oh, it was after the actual wedding was when I passed you over the last ever bottle of the golden elixir from the wheelbarrow.
Oh, I said that was a very rare. That's like when people pay like many thousands of pounds for like a 1960s bottle of scotch or something. I was like, that's what the Empire equivalent is. It's like, that's not made anymore.
Yeah, it's like, I think Gwithian found that in Keyes' cellar when he was at his back at his place in Trudge.
Yeah.
Oh, hello. This looks interesting.
That was probably Keyes' retirement fund right there.
Yep, and we drank it at your wedding.
That was great though. But yeah, I was just really, really worried and stressed about people enjoying themselves at the reception. And it turns out that I had such a good group of friends, and the vibe was amazing. With the music, with the knife fights, we had some dancing, and we had they've named a cheeky little a certain Bravo of the league has now acquired a new nickname. Because some of my dread shields came over to me and they said, "Murdoch," they said, "we've just watched a leaguer absolutely demolish the buffet table, like just sweep it clean." And I went, oh, and I went, oh, I said, "Were they wearing green black trousers?" And they went, yeah. And I went, "I know who that is." And I went, "They've probably been so busy planning Uncle Nietzsche's meetings that they haven't had a chance to eat. And because this is booked into his calendar, this is a chance for them to eat. So they've now acquired the moniker Hurricane Modesto for their ability to put away a whole buffet table worth of sausage rolls and crisps and."
Oh, but sometimes be like that, where it's like you realise it's like 5 o'clock in the evening. You haven't eaten all day because you've just been on your feet running around getting shit sorted.
Yeah, that is. I love, as I think I've said before, I love some icy food, because because you just be walking past someone and they're like, "A hot dog," and you're like, "Do you know what? Actually, yes, I could demolish a hot dog."
So, I mean, like Waystone Wieners, and they got a brilliant location on that route, right past Songs and Stories, opposite the Drunken Goose. Oh, can't go wrong.
My new wife went off to get me a Waystone Wiener at some point, and they came back incredibly. It was a wine club. They went away to get a Waystone Wiener. And I went, "Oh, that'll be good." And they came back. They've sold out. And I was like, I can't believe this. So I've yet to experience the delights of the Waystone Wiener. So maybe we should make a me and Murdoch and Gwithian should make a plan to go for a wiener.
Oh yeah, we'll have a good wienering on there.
We'll have a good wienering together, yeah.
Oh, and yet another festival going on this summit in the league was the league's Rat Festival.
Oh, that was such a perfect way to transition because
Yeah.
we had the reception halfway up the league in the high street, and then we essentially
Yeah.
just walked the party down the league to the Rat Festival.
Yeah. It's is that celebrating getting rid of rats from somewhere, or
But
I
they
have
were also
no
sort
idea.
of
But
celebrating the rats, and there's also the Rat
yeah.
King. But then, like, the Rat King, I think, was offering to get rid of the rats. It's a very confusing festival. Not that we were
Yeah.
complaining.
It was what's it? Rat racing with
Yes.
cards.
The rat racing was incredibly... The person running it was... I think that's what made it, is they were so
Yeah.
enthused about the way they were commentating on what was just laying down playing cards. That's all it
Yeah.
was. But I think the energy was so up in the air. Probably
Yeah,
not. Probably, you know, helped a little bit by the complimentary Lambrini from the reception.
Yeah. But yeah, it was very interesting. There's also the toss a rat into a basket game as well, which I completely failed at. But did buy one of my favourite all-time sweets of white chocolate mice.
Oh, amazing! I got a really delicious half chocolate dipped rat cookie.
Ooh.
And then we met... I'm going to say it was the mascot of the festival. We met the rat puppet.
Oh God.
But I
Yes.
don't remember his name.
No.
But it was... I have this thing. Dear listener, I love puppets. They are my favourite thing in the world, is puppets. However, I have a tendency to talk to the puppet a lot and not the person controlling the puppet.
Well, if you're having a discussion with the puppet, then that's what you should be doing. You should be talking to the puppet, not
Yeah.
the puppet master.
It's the point
Is that
where
the correct phrase?
it's like, oh, the three of, me, you, and the rat were having a conversation. But I was like, oh yeah, sorry, I forgot there's another guy here.
Yeah.
Did it have like a New York accent as well?
I think so.
It was so good.
Just, I mean, there are so many talented people at LARPs.
Yes.
Some amazing musicians, amazing actors, puppeteers. It's insane. It's like, I think I've gone about it before. There's a person in Goldie's Cartel who has the puppet Derek.
Yes, I am aware of Derek. I think I'm sort of friends with Derek. I'm a little bit scared of Derek.
I'm terrified of Derek.
Yeah.
Derek is a devious person. But yeah,
there's some kind of story about someone being found. Was it like the last owner? Not owner. The last handler of Derek. Was it was found dead?
There's one story I've heard which was Derek had been awarded Best Derek Award during some league award ceremony. But then his Best Derek Award badge was found next to a load of dead bodies in the Hall of Worlds when it was attacked by Siaka heralds. So it's like, okay. Yeah, the control that they have over Derek it's like just a little person, because all the small movements are done as well. Like just like small head tilts and looking around. It's just like, also, I don't have the capacity for that in my brain.
I think Dave has talked about Derek before, but the fact that we know the puppet's name, I can never remember the person that actually controls Derek's name.
Yeah.
Which I think is awful.
Yeah.
But it's like
I'm horrible with names at the best of times.
Yeah. But you do remember the psychotic puppet's name.
Yeah, psychotic puppet's name. That's going to stick in my head.
I really like Derek and the rat to meet though. I think like a puppet meet up would be really funny.
Yeah.
That was the Rat Festival. It was dampened a little bit by some on-off rain, but I think overall really good. But I remember us having this. I believe we had this conversation with the Rat where we said we literally have one festival in Navarre, which was this time, and we said we feel like every event, the league are getting another festival.
Yeah, it's just
We were saying we should start inventing festivals to give ourselves some more.
exactly. I think that's one of the things we need to look into is how can we get more festivals in Navarre? But
Yeah, I think after that, I think I was so wiped, because that's what they don't tell you about doing. I haven't been fighting all day. I've just been doing some mildly emotional roleplay. I was absolutely wiped, mentally. So I think I turned to Cricket and I went, Cricket, do you think it's time to go have some dinner? And Cricket went, I think it is. And so we wandered on back over to the Dreadshield camp, got our lovely new camp barbecue going, and
it's very nice.
It's really nice. It was not cheap, but it's one of the National Trust compliant ones. So it's got these like big. It's all welded steel, and it's got these nice, really long legs on it that bring it up to like what do you reckon, like knee height, I'd say. And
yeah, probably about foot and a half tall.
Yeah, but it means it's compliant
in old money.
So so you don't need anything underneath it because it's high enough up off the floor. And we had steaks, and it was just steaks on a proper fire in the woods.
Yeah.
And everyone in the Dreadshield camp was just chattering away, and it was just lovely. And I remember just sitting there and thinking, man, this is something I'm just going to remember, forever.
Yeah.
Is this feeling of just being so content and happy.
Yeah, it's one of those lovely things. When you're a big group of you around the fire, it's just... Those are the times I love most at LARP. I think it's just... when there's still RP going on, but it's also very relaxed, and you feel very at home in your character, almost, where it's like... there might be the occasional slip to OC conversation as well while you're there, but it's like there's still a lot of IC stuff going on, and it's just, but it is like that. The nice, I'm home, I can just chill out now, I don't have to fly off the handle or anything, because nothing's going to make me fly off the handle here, and if it does, everyone else can fuck it up.
It's also to like anyone listening to this that is a LARPer will 100% understand what we're talking about, where we say sometimes your favourite moments of LARP are the things that make really bad podcast material.
Yeah, they're just sort of chilling out and just relaxing.
Because I think we sat around that. It was so nice. I think we sat around for about 4 hours just having a drink, chatting, keeping the fire topped up. We did have a very good rendition of... there was some special wedding smut that had been...
yes.
that was produced for the wedding, being both me and Julie being big smut stars.
I have a copy of it right here.
Yeah, oi.
That's for you, Millie. I'm keeping hold of them, don't worry.
I'll have to autograph it and like put like a lipstick kiss on it for Claudia. Yeah. And so there was a quite a raunchy account of how me and Julie had met, which was entirely true, but it was quite racy. And I'd read it earlier on in the day, and it was I was like, well, it's quite steamy. And then, as we like to do at the Dreadshield camp sometimes, I said, would anyone like to give me a dramatic reading of this? And it was and we had Cricket, and Cricket, who is a silly little guy, and we had Rook, who is our very gruff military commander, both give us an absolutely roaring rendition of this saucy story. And it was so funny.
It was a good time. I think after the reading, the food, it was then out to more bars around Anvil, seeing what was still available to drink.
Yeah, I think we suddenly went, because none of us had checked the time. We went, it's 11 o'clock. We should get we should get going.
Yeah.
And I think we headed off to Wise Guys, I believe.
I know we definitely ended up at Wise Guys. I think there was there a few stops on the way? Possibly.
This is where the whole night starts to become a bit blurry and glittery.
Well, I know we were definitely in Wise Guys, and then it was heading back to the Navarre camp for, West Wall.
Yeah, so I think we all got a drink in Wise Guys, and then again one of us suddenly went, "Oh my goodness!" They went, "It's 10-1. Like we need to." The time at the end of Saturday just absolutely evaporated. It was spent amongst amazing company, having the best time, but the time just really felt like it just slipped like sand through our fingers. And so it
just flew through.
And so I think we had a very a very stiff drink up, lads. Let's get walking to head back up to Westwall, because I can't. That is my personal tradition. Is always Saturday, always Westwall.
Yeah.
It's just so lovely to. It always gets me tearing up.
It's a sight to see. If you haven't been to Songs and Stories for the last song of the night, which will always be Westwall. I think actually there was another song that followed it this time.
It's
another quite somber one.
It's always Westwall, which is the big boomy ending one, and then it's followed by Parting Glass, which is the nice, and we all kind of sway together, and then basically the moment we end Parting Glass is one-ish. It's Time Out. Yeah. And then they go, "It's Time Out," and we all go, "Yeah."
Yep, and then everyone drops the act, and
I think that's. Do you know what? I think it is also that is where me and you had our first proper conversation. Was immediately after Parting Glass at one of the summits.
Probably
where we were just chatting, and then you were like, "Oh, by the way, I do the narrator voice on LARP Noobs," and then you did it, and I went, "Oh, it's you."
Yeah.
So again, another thing that's just it's very touching for me. And then I was, like I said, absolutely. Not physically, just mentally and emotionally, absolutely shattered. And so I went, cool, old man mode. I'm going to go to bed.
Yeah, you went straight to bed. I think I stayed up for a little bit. I think I was up till about 2-3 in the morning. So not too late. Not Talis late. Talis is renowned for his late nights.
I don't know how he does it. I don't know where he is.
That's how he does it.
Yeah. It's shandy in a coconut cup.
Exactly. But yeah, that brings Saturday to a close. So,
what a Saturday.
Once again, it was quite the Saturday. A lot of shit going on. I'd like to take this moment to thank all of our listeners, thanking our Patreons. You are the guys who keep the lights on. Podcasting is not a cheap hobby, sadly, but having you guys support us really, really helps. Sort of enables us to have the hosting, so we can have all of our older episodes up as well. So thank you very much for all that. And yeah, there's only one thing left to say, really, I guess. Strength to the Empire.
Strength to Navarre. Guess what, Millie? We were recording this shirtless, so unfortunately you'll have to miss that because audio only format, innit, baby.